In Swiped, you talk about not geotagging your photos in social media because everyone wants to post where they've been on vacation. So what's the danger in that?
Well, the danger is that there is a code that is on digital photographs, and that code can tell someone when and where it was taken. So if you go into your digital device, you will see a thing that says location services, disable location services. Because
in general on your camera. Forget about tagging when you post on social media.
That's right. In general,
Turn it off
even
your
in
camera.
general on
Right.
your phone,
Right.
disable or make it very specific to a very specific app, and only during the period of time that app is being used. But the problem is location services can end up giving away too much information about you, and as a result, if you disable them, that gives hackers, stalkers, burglars less of an opportunity. Because so many people love to take pictures and post them on social media of, here's my new car, here's my wonderful piece of art, look at my piece of jewelry, look at my new stereo system. And if the site doesn't scramble the geotag, which Facebook does scramble, but a lot of other sites don't, you're telling somebody what you've got, where you've got it, and what they need to haul it off.
Okay. Because I know that you should never post that post your pictures of you're on vacation having fun at the beach, because that invites everybody to go to your house.
Well, for sure. And a lot of people have this tendency to go, I'm leaving next week. I'm going here. I'll be here for so many days. I'll be home on such and such a date. And now you're telling people where you are, and by default, you're also telling people where you're not.
Exactly. Party at your house.
As a matter of fact, there was a site called Please Rob Me that was created just to catalog all these postings and say, what were you thinking? So I always say to people, look, instead of sharing the experience real time, share the memory.
I was just going to ask you, does it matter if after the fact when I get home, I post my picture that says that I had a lovely time in Jamaica?
No, that's fine. That's great. Share the memory. Don't necessarily share the experience. 99% of the people will say, don't be ridiculous. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And unfortunately, there are consequences. Just like people who love to say with some of these apps, I'm going to be here, and then I'm going here, and then I'm going to go here, because they either want people to meet them or they want to figure out where they're going to meet people, but they don't realize that they are opening themselves up to be robbed, burglarized, stalked, or worse.
Now, how about Snapchat, which is a running video log that the kids just can't stay away from? Does that have the same geotagging issues?
Well, there are just issues in general with all apps. Snapchat is less of a problem, but I have to confess, I'm not a Snapchat person. I wouldn't be able to. I don't use it.
You're over 17.
I am
right?
over 17.
You don't belong on Snapchat. Are there any other social media don'ts that people should
Well,
be
there's a
aware of?
variety of social media don'ts. First, of course, don't post pictures of everything. Secondly, don't tell people every morsel of your life, because in the end, a lot of the things you tell people could end up as answers to security questions when you set up security protocols with websites. Also, when you set up security questions to websites, lie. They don't need to know your mother's actual maiden name. They don't need to know the street you grew up on or what the mascot was where you went to high school. These are the kinds of things they really don't need to know. Tell them you went to Sky High. Tell them your mother's maiden name was Smith when it was really Jones. Tell them your first pet's name was Bobby as opposed to Muffin. These are the kinds of things that you should do. No one is going to conduct a security clearance background check to determine whether or not you've told them the truth. All the website wants to know is when they ask you a security question, the answer you give them is the same answer you gave them.
That is so.
When you set up the relationship.
That is so diabolically brilliant, because when they ask me the security questions, if it's not something specific like what town was I born in, I don't remember my favorite teacher's name, my first pet's name, any of that, because depending on if a fish is really a pet, was that really my first pet or not? So brilliant.
So the good
advice.
news, you don't
Love
have to
that.
remember, they don't have to remember,
Just
but
make it up.
right, but don't be so creative that you can't remember what you told them.
I'm going to put it in my password protector.
There you go. But
Yeah.
the other thing too is that it's so important when you're doing things on social networking, never underestimate the dangers you could face by answering a quiz. Because quizzes look harmless, and the information you give the quiz folks seems harmless, but you have to think about all of these things in the world we live in as components of a nuclear weapon. In and of themselves, they may be harmless, but when combined, they could be lethal. And that's the same thing with your information, because these are pieces of information that someone could use not to hack into a website. They could literally walk through the front door of a website, because when they're asked security questions to confirm that you're you, they know so much about you that as far as the website's concerned, they are you.
Right. Now, how about there are certain websites you go to and they very conveniently say, do you want to log in using Facebook? I presume that's a never do it.
People do it, and they do it for all sorts of reasons, but I wouldn't do it. Right. Just like when you put an app on your smartphone and it says, do you want to save your user ID? You want to save your password? Never. Take the extra few seconds that you have to take in order to put in your user ID and your password, because if someone were to get access to your device, and many people can, think of all the places that people leave cell phones, whether it's at a bar, in a restroom, in the back of a cab, on the dinner table. These are things where people can get their hands on it, and if you've saved your user ID or password and they get in, now they're automatically in to your financial account, to a social networking account, to a variety of accounts.
All right. Social media, extreme discretion.
Discretion.
Thanks, Ed. You can get Adam's book swiped at bottomlinestore.com. And do that social thing, because this information is so important. And as Adam said, we're all in this together. So share this video, let your friends know about Adam's good work, and again, come to our site.